Originally, this video was part of a Udemy marketing course, but I've decided to make it available to you for free right here on YouTube. Over the years, I've found that fear is one of the main things that holds most small business owners back from participating in various review sites. How will you respond when they say something just terrible about you? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this particular lecture. And I want to tell you something right up front. You see, a few negative reviews will actually increase your conversion rate. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you think about it for a second, it will make some sense. If you went to a review site and you read 20 reviews about a company and every last one was exclusively positive, nobody ever said anything negative about this company, would you trust those reviews? The truth is, the occasional negative review will increase the amount of business you get from those reviews. And that's what we're going to talk about this time, negative reviews. The first thing you need to know about negative reviews is that you have to have a plan in place, and you have to put that plan in place now. Don't think that you'll be there and you'll take care of it when it happens, because my experience is the owner or manager normally isn't around when these negative reviews blow up, and it winds up oftentimes being taken care of by a shift manager or a lead or somebody 17 years old who's never done this before. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you have to have a plan in place, and the person who answers it has to know in advance what you want to see happen. And that's what I want to talk to you about this time. You know, as time goes on, social media is becoming more and more important to your marketing success. And it really isn't a terribly expensive thing. Did you know that 60% of all small businesses spend less than $100 a month on their social media campaigns? It's also important to know that 74% of all small businesses don't have anyone dedicated to social media. So most of the time, it's a person on the staff who takes care of the various social media platforms. And that works out fine for most people. Now, it's important to know that 80% of your comments are coming from 20% of the people on the various platforms. And you probably want to identify these people, because especially the ones who are making positive comments, you would like to take care of them. The next time they're in the restaurant, if you know who they are in person, go ahead, spiff them a dessert. It'll cost you $1, and they're going to talk about it for the next week. Now, some people, as you and I both know, are just not happy. And you are going to run across these folks sooner or later. It's just bound to happen. And it doesn't always have to be your fault. So what are you going to do when you do have a negative social media review? Well, there's several things you want to do. The first thing is to empathize with the person. Say something like, "You know, I know exactly how you feel," or "I understand your concerns." What you don't want to do is have the person on your staff who was involved in the incident answer the negative review. The other thing that you would like to do for a negative social media review is to try to get this person off the page. This is terribly important. Do not engage this individual in a debate on the page. Say something like, "You know, I want to resolve this as soon as possible, and the telephone is the fastest way to do it." You see, ideally, you don't want 5 or 6 posts in some type of ongoing debate, because a lot of times these people cannot be made happy. Now, if I'm saying I don't think you can make a lot of them happy, why are you bothering with this? Well, the fact is, you're not really talking to these folks to talk to them. You really don't want them back at your restaurant ever again. The reason why you're talking to them is because the people who come behind them and read these posts a month from now will assume everything negative that person said is true if you do not challenge what they said. So you want to stick with the facts. You do not want to talk about emotional items unless, of course, they're being outright abusive and name-calling or cussing at your staff. And you really want them off the page. I can't overemphasize that enough. So with these items in mind, it's important that you have a plan before the negative review comes. There are some companies that just are not good at negative reviews. The poster child for how not to do it is Applebee's. Applebee's, although they're now smart enough to realize they want the person off the page, they still go through and cut and paste the please call us request. You definitely want to personalize every one of these for the people that you're trying to communicate with. And remember, the point is so the readers after this person understand that you care about your customers and that you want to set things right if something goes wrong with them at a later date. So my final thought for you would be not to be afraid of negative reviews. By the way, if you're still not sure whether or not you want to jump into this review business, I promise you, some of your customers are already writing reviews about you. And once again, I'll mention, if you don't respond to those reviews, everyone who comes behind them assumes what has been said must be the truth. So you really do want to get involved with this. That's going to do it for this tourism marketing tip. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also get a hold of me on the website with any other questions, and we have another video for you. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.